If you discovered witchcraft online, chances are you're walking through a door Fiona Horne helped open decades ago. She's a best-selling author, a former 90s rock star, a licensed commercial pilot, a world record skydiver, and one of the original pioneers of modern witchcraft in Australia and the US. Her new book is called Coven, Where Witches Gather, and it's all about community, power, and what happens when people stop practicing alone. I'm genuinely thrilled and a little bit spooked to welcome Fiona Horne. Hello.
Hi, Ben. How are you?
Yeah, really well, thank you. Thank you so much for joining me.
I love that you're a little bit spooked.
It is. I saw that you've got the tarot cards there. It's all a little bit.
This is the oracle cards. I'm holding up oracles for you. There's the little sneak preview. Oracle's a little different to tarot, but we can talk about that.
I'm curious, though, just as long as there's some positive juju in it, because I think the world needs a bit of positivity at the moment. Hey, I'm curious to know, when you were a rock star in the 90s and then you first publicly called yourself a witch, what did that cost you and what did it give you?
Super interesting question. I mean, my song lyrics in Deaf Effects right from the start were a little bit witchy and magical. Like in the very early days, there were songs like Spiral Dance and a lyric like The Wise Witch Wove Her Dreams. I was always kind of hinting to my esoteric and spiritual life behind the scenes of Deaf Effects in my songwriting. Our last album was called Magic. The biggest selling single off it was I'll Be Your Magic. There was another song called Spell on You. I mean, I was leaking it out there, hinting at it. When the band broke up and I wrote my first book in 1997 called Witch: A Personal Journey, and it was a very big, it reached a lot of people because I had a high profile. And witches in the late 90s were very much everywhere, at that time, with shows like Charmed on TV and the first version of Practical Magic, which is now coming out, Practical Magic 2 this year. What I found when I came out of the broom closet, so to speak, was a receptive audience because I was well known in Australia. Then I went to America and it was quite different. But still people were curious, but there was still a lot of misconceptions about modern witchcraft, and people were, I heard that statement of, oh, I'm spooked, or do you worship the devil, or are you a good witch or a bad witch? And I don't get asked those things very much anymore, or I think people understand that modern witchcraft is one of the fastest growing spiritual paths in the Western world still. People are looking for alternatives. People are drawn to, an idea of having magic in their lives and how they could co-create their lives with the universe. And that's what modern witchcraft's about.
So for people that perhaps aren't fully up with witchcraft, myself included, I've heard about it. Sometimes I'm not sure, whether it's the witches genuinely believe the incredible spirituality you're doing or whether it's sort of cosplaying. How would you describe witchcraft to a Neanderthal like myself?
Well, Neanderthals were quite magical. You got to remember that that's being discovered more and more, that they had a very rich tapestry of spiritual life, and more and more discoveries about the Neanderthal race are happening all the time, so it's interesting you use that term to describe yourself, because that in of itself is a very kind of magical, witchy term now. In the sense that there was an intimate relationship with nature, an intimate relationship with the cycles of the sun and the moon and the seasons, and living closer to the earth and living more organic lives. I mean, that's right up the Neanderthal's path, and ritualizing and ceremony and gathering together and doing things in a sense of understanding that there is an inherent sacredness and divine nature to life that is more than just our modern lives of doom scrolling and being obsessed with ourselves, but modern witchcraft, there's a simple statement, and I've been saying it for the last 30 years in interviews, because I've been interviewed about this stuff for over 30 years now. Modern witches, it's still the same. We honor nature as sacred. We recognize a goddess as well as a god, or a dualistic or polytheistic principle of divinity. And we do spells and rituals to help and heal ourselves and others. And I would just add to that we, I think there's a big element in modern witchcraft now being an understanding that it's important to be of service and to define our power, not by what we get, but how much we are empowered to give.
It sounds, I guess a lot of people's conceptions of witchcraft is it's kind of another world. But from your description of it, more than anything, it sounds really grounded in the now and the present. So that's
of
remarkable.
This world. Yeah, it's of this world. And when we do spell casting and ritual, we tend to, we'll always work with the elements, and the elements of air, earth, fire, water, and spirit being the fifth element. The air, earth, fire, and water, that's nature right there, and spirit being our role, our place within it, to co-create, interact. I use that word co-create a lot because I think it's a powerful word to use these days when people feel overwhelmed by the pressures of life and the pressures to keep up with everyone else and the pressures to consume and the pressures to have more, the pressures to feel depressed, the pressures to think, oh, what's the point? Everything's useless. The world's going to rack and ruin. There's so much pressure on people now. And sometimes one of the most beautiful practices in the modern craft is that, and certainly what I write about in my new book, it's people coming together just to be together, not to do, but to be, to just be and to breathe and to trust and to get into and really feel into the innate humanity that brings us together. And, you know, like one of the things I've loved doing these last few years really is creating these what I call nourishing spiritual adventures for women. I call them Meet Yourself in Egypt, meet yourself in Bali, meet yourself in Transylvania this year. When I gather these women together in these extraordinary environments, we drop away the roles that we play in life. You know, someone's employee, someone's mother, someone's boss, someone's girlfriend, someone's wife, sister, whatever. We drop all the roles and we gather in extraordinary places and feel into the places. And as humans come together to have an extraordinary experience, and that in of itself is magic because you see lives transformed. So no, we're not snapping our fingers and little green sparkly goblins are running around everywhere, though I do have a green sparkly book that I love and I'm super proud of, but not a little goblin. It's actually like, even though that'd be cool, I'll keep working on that spell, but it's sometimes it's just a simple understanding that your life has been transformed and you feel uplifted and joyful, or you can process grief in a way that is less overwhelming or less debilitating. I mean, there's so many aspects to modern witchcraft where it can help our lives, and more people are discovering that all the time.
I'm speaking to the incredible Fiona Horne this morning. You were just talking about the gatherings and people getting together, particularly in the way the world is at the moment with so many people disconnected. What do you think people misunderstand most about the idea of a coven?
Well, I would pronounce it Coven, but we can call it Coven if you like. Yeah, but I like Coven's interesting. It's an interesting way of, because when you say Coven, I think of a cove, and I think of like a beautiful space in nature that's like a circle, and people come together in the cove, you know, in that circle space, the Coven, the cove. It's kind of gorgeous. What I want to emphasize this book, you know, and I'm holding it up again, Coven, where witches gather. And I'm about to go on tour, you know, across the east coast of Australia, and so many people are coming together. It's not just for witches, it's for the witch curious and the magically minded, I would offer. Because coming together in groups, and what this book talks about is the inherent, as I was saying earlier, the power of being together. And we spend so much of our lives isolated or behind a screen. I mean, I love watching those old movies from the 80s and 90s prior to you know, screen time, prior to personal devices, where people actually sat and looked around and talked and interacted. And there was a sense of community. And that's like unity, like community for the common good, like to bring us together so that we don't feel so isolated. And I did mention those women's experiences that I offer in different countries. It's because to bring us together as women or as humans, that we know that we are more united by our humanity than, you know, the color of our skin or our creed or our race or whatever or what we wear could ever divide. Certainly as women, that's why I emphasize, I work with women mostly, you know, pretty much all the time. My main focus is women and sisterhood and bringing us together. But maybe a misconception of, you know, you might think of a coven, that word, and you think of, you know, American Horror Story, Coven, that TV show that came out or whatever, and you think, oh, it's all very spooky and very dark and very weird. Well, it can be dark. We can certainly be gathering under a full moon. We can be gathering in the dark away from electricity to look at the night sky and as best we can, you know, divined by the stars. We can be in a space that feels sacred and purposeful, because it's set outside of normal place and time, which is one of the descriptions of creating a sacred space for Coven group work. But I mean, look, if people are interested and curious, they should just come to my tour, I think, and meet me in person, and we'll do it together. And I want to offer as well that with the book, that it's also really helpful. And I'm finding this more and more as people are reading it. It's out, like, as the time that we're chatting, Ben, it's been out on pre-order for a while. So some people are getting copies of it. And I'm getting a lot of feedback from people I'm getting a lot of lovely feedback from people saying, you know, I don't have to be a witch in a coven. I can use what you're offering here as far as how to communicate harmoniously, how to even work out what someone's doing based on their star sign a little. It's not a book about astrology, but ways of building in alternative ways of assessing situations and interactions with people, and going for that more harmonious, knowledge-based, kind of respect-based. Let's grow with each other. Let's find our challenges, not the obstacles there to stop us, but to guide us to something better. All this kind of advice. People are saying, oh, I'm using it in my family, like to get along with my sister and my mum. I'm using it at my work to some of the ideas presented in the book, because it's just helping me navigate a bit of the office politics. Like, there's a lot of advice in here, I think, that comes not only from being a practicing witch of over 40 years, but just being a human. I'm turning 60 in linear years this year. I've been on the planet, you know, my 60th trip around the sun. Sometimes it's just some practical advice in this book that I've learned from being out there in the world. As you so generously mentioned, you know, I was a rock star, a commercial pilot. I flew, for about 6 years over in America. Like, I've been out in the world a lot, and you learn. I take women around the world on these nourishing spiritual adventures now to places like Egypt and Bali and Transylvania. It's like you learn how to bring people together. And so one of the biggest goals for me is to offer something back. This is what I've learned. If it's useful, I hope it's a useful light on your path, you know.
Well, really, you keep mentioning the word light to path. It's something that's amazed me, the conversation throughout you know, the preconception of witchcraft is that it's sort of darker. This conversation's been so light and joyful, and the book is absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
Books that's not just for...
So beautiful.
It's a stunning book, and it feels like it's not just for people obsessed with witches. It's a great sort of coffee table book or something in the office where people can just flick to if they're having a moment and need to find a bit of inspiration. It feels like it could bring a bit of good energy.
Well, I love that you say that, and I feel grateful that I can, like, hold up my babies, my goodies, because I don't have human children. I have books and rescue animals, furry children in my life. So I'm very proud of my babies. But look, you know, the other thing that comes with the book, there's a matching oracle deck, Coven Oracle. So, you know what's kind of fun with this, and I think we should do this now, Ben. We should pull a card together, because Coven Oracle is it's an oracle set, so 36 cards, beautifully designed by an incredible artist, Mariam, who's from Spain.
That's beautiful.
And I worked with her. I commissioned the art with her. I gave her descriptions. I said, this is what I'm channeling. This is what I'm bringing through for these cards. You need to draw a picture that matches it. And she did such an amazing job. But let's pull a card, because that's the thing. You can be at work. You could be on the bus. You could be on a train. You could be, like, sitting with your family for, like, some dinner or something. You're going, oh gosh, how do I navigate this? And pull a card.
I need one for
and
every
get some advice.
If my family. I need a bit of luck for each one of the gatherings.
Or even just like, you know, before you're about to go out with a group of friends, and if you want to make the evening something, or you've got to, like the book actually talks about doing goddess and god gatherings, like where you would choose food and activities that nourish and celebrate the divinity within together, coming together. So goddess gathering or a god gathering. I mean, there's guidance for that too. So, but let's pull a card and see what we get. So you tell me when to stop shuffling, and I'll just read the card that's on the top of the deck.
Okay, stop.
Okay, on top of the deck. Oh, I love this. Torchbearer. Guide, anchor, and inspire. So when you get torchbearer, and this is really suitable for you, Ben, because you are a bit of a torchbearer with your show and with what you do out there in the digital realm, as we'll say, like offering all this information and talking to people, and you are the torchbearer. You hold up the light and shine it on a path that others may not know about and give them some guidance. So what's beautiful, the three words here, guide, anchor, inspire. So your role is to guide people, to anchor them in a sense of self-worth and inspire them to continue growing and evolving. So that's a really beautiful gift that you can offer. And I think, you know, we might think of witches as being, you know, and there is the beautiful gothic witch aesthetic. Hey, I'm dressed in black sitting on this cream couch, you know, so that it's like, and I'm covered in witchy tattoos that all have meanings and things for me, for my witchcraft. But There is a sense of being a light that shines on a path, and you can embrace and love the witch aesthetic. You can go into the shadow work and the darker side. At the end of the day, we're all moving forward towards the light. That's what happens when we transition anyway, I believe. I've had enough communications with people that have crossed over when I do my, like when I do readings and things for people, and I've had enough communication with people that have crossed over to know that we go to the light. There is light after this. And that is something really to rejoice in. But that doesn't mean heaven isn't here right now on earth. I wrote it in my very first book, in Witch: A Personal Journey, and I've written it again in my most recent book, Coven, Where Witches Gather. So that's arcing. I lose count. I think I've written 15 books, and, you know, but we are all really, at the end of the day, here to live an amazing life on this incredible gift of a planet. Like right now, we are sitting, you and I, we're sitting on a planet, right? That's in a solar system, that's in a galaxy, that's in the universe. I mean, let's just bring it into the moment. You know, yeah, we're communicating with our devices, but here we are on this planet, on this continent, on this planet, in this solar system, in this galaxy, in this universe. I mean, how much more magical does life need to be?
It's crazy. I'm so thankful for the grounding that sort of this conversation's offered me before, you know, running around, getting things ready for the interview. I imagine that grounding is going to be something that the entire audience can partake in, because it's not just a book signing for you. You're considering this a gathering of people. Why was that really important for you?
I think we spend, as humanity, we spend so much time behind our screens, and I see this. I've been living in Egypt for most of the last 3 years. I'm back in Australia at the moment, but living in Egypt, I moved there in 2023 to be able to facilitate the women's offerings, the gatherings, the Meet Yourself in Egypt experiences, which now up to their 3rd year. I have another one this year, and I'll be heading back to Egypt soon. But even in Egypt, everywhere, everyone's on their phones. Well, my phone's there. I can't even pick it up. I'm talking into it right now. I was about to turn around and pick up my phone and hold it up. And of course, I'm doing the interview on my phone. But it's like we're just so cut off from each other. And, you know, I've spent so much time in other countries, other cultures, and especially, you know, through North Africa and Middle East, and everyone does it. It's relentless. Unless you're out in, you know, climbing Mount Sinai. I was sitting on the top of Mount Sinai in the Sinai desert with a couple of my beautiful women clients. I took them up to the top of the mountain to sleep up there, and we didn't have our phones out that night. I mean, we took a couple of photos and put them away. But it's just, it's to bring people together with an opportunity to feel trust and community. There's a sense of fear that's pervasive at the moment. If you spend a lot of time watching the media and getting sucked into that negative diatribe that's going on, it's been going on, but it's extra now, you know. I really hope that my East Coast tour, and I plan to travel more and offer this more, but right now I'm here in the East Coast of Australia to offer this through March and April. Actually, the first event's the end of February, 21st of February at Spellbox down in Melbourne, and then I move up and down the East Coast. Not long.
All the details are in the link below.
Thank you.
Head on down, check it out. Before we go, Fiona, if witchcraft is really about remembering who you are, what do you hope people remember after reading the incredible book, Coven? Coven.
I would hope Coven, yes, Coven. I'm digging the Coven. I'm digging the sense of a cove and us gathering under a full moon in a cove with the moonlight glinting off the waves. And yeah, I mean, that would be a dream witchcraft gathering. And then we would get a big stick and we'd trace a big circle in the sand, and we'd maybe, if we were allowed to, like to be environmentally aware and everything, light a fire in the center. Oh, just lost my earbud. And we would gather together and we would breathe and be and maybe state intentions, state hope for our own healing or our own growth and each other's healing and growth. We would maybe chant or sing to raise power and bring that energy together. You know, when you go to a great dance party and and maybe I'm been sober for 14 years, so I find my magic and my witchcraft has evolved. Beautiful. Yeah. Isn't it beautiful that the sober life is, we get to really experience life. And I feel so grateful for the journey of sobriety in the program. I mean, I am sober day at a time because of a program. I mean, that's it. I go to meetings, I do the program, what's suggested, and I'm sober. And as a witch, it's really evolved my craft to be, you know, like even there, I mean, look, I've just offered this. I don't really believe that we need the drugs, the alcohol, the substances to evolve. I mean, I respect people that are dedicated shamans, plant medicine people. You know, there's so many avenues and ways. There's breath work. You know, I just have found personally that the most magical moments in my life have been when I'm sober and when I'm not trying to force or push anything. It's actually, I get my ego out of the way. I get Fiona out of the way and I put it to the side and I say, Spirit, come through me. Just help me be useful. Help me be purposeful. Help me be a tool, you know, and that's a tool of usefulness in the world, however that's meant to be. And I always find I'm taken care of. You know, I always have a roof over my head. I'm quite nomadic. I'm kind of, I sort of say I own nothing except my freedom and my happiness and my willingness to be sober and to be of service. And that allows a deep sense of fulfillment and purpose in life that can't be swayed away a lot from all the variables that go on in life. And I've had strange challenges in recent times. I've had periods of ill health that have been very stripped me back bare, you know, bare to the bones. Literally, I literally had a hip replacement 2 months ago. And it's like, but even through illness, you know, there's a beautiful gift when you get that sick. Like I was in a wheelchair in June last year with an autoimmune condition that raced through my body. It's like, but it was an opportunity to stop and go, okay, you're of service to everyone else. Bring it back to you. You can't keep growing and evolving if you're just constantly, you know, being a people pleaser or overachiever or whatever. So I brought it back in, got really sick, and I got really well. And I love this lesson I'm learning in life as I continue living in this body for as long as I have. It's coming up on 60 years. It's like I can get really sick, but I can get really well. And as women, we don't have a use by date. As men, you don't either. We can meet challenges with a sense of purpose and humility, but also hope. No, but when I say hope, hope might sound like, oh, you hope, but you're not sure. It's just a sense of this life in all its light and dark is amazing and magical, and it's amazing when it's really hard, and it's amazing when it's really good, and we're living it, and it's a privilege. And I hope that in all my books on witchcraft, and it's like I've lost count, 15, 16, I don't know, oracle decks, like I'm up to my 5th. I'm so lucky to have amazing publishers like Rockpool Publishing that just keep working with me and say, yes, we want to do another one with you. We believe in you.
Yeah.
And I know I've got a purpose. And if that's just to share some of what I've learned, and it can help others live a more fulfilling life where they can share that joy and that love and that optimism, then it's the ripple effect, you know, and I'm one of many doing it. And I just hope it, you know, we just continue to add up to understanding that we're not meant to suffer. Challenged, yes, but life is not a veil of tears. Like, be grateful, live it and share it.
Well, Fiona Horne, I'm very grateful for your time today. Coven, Where Witches Gather, along with all of her other books, are available now. You can check out some of the links below.
My babies.
And head on to the tour. Fiona Horne, it's been a delight. Thank you.
Thanks, Ben. Thank you so much.